As you guys well know, we are a boxing channel, but we are also a life channel and connecting life with boxing in life. So with that being said, it was a very big piece of human history and discovery that has been disclosed, I think about 3 months ago, and nobody has talked about it. It's probably one of the biggest, it's probably one of the biggest things that you can hear about in your lifetime. Like I said, in human history. So we're going to have to talk about it. And I know you read the title, Mandela Effect, Marvel movies. Bruce, how are you going to connect it? Don't worry about it. This is what I do. Because as I was sitting back here, I connected the dots on this and I just couldn't, I just couldn't keep it to myself. I don't think I should keep it to myself. You know, this is information that I would want to share with everybody, you know. But yes, it was a big piece of news that was announced about 3 months ago that entirely nobody is talking about, but it affects human history completely. And we're going to see why. So let's go into this clip.
The well-intentioned regulatory regime of the 1970s became an ever-tightening ratchet, first hampering America's ability to become a net energy exporter and then making it harder and harder to build. We seem to have lost focus and vision, to have lowered our sights and let systems and structures and bureaucracies muddle us along. But we are capable of so much more. Our technologies permit us to manipulate time and space. They leave distance annihilated, cause things to grow and improve productivity.
Now, a lot of people, this clip might have went over your head. I don't think it should, but a lot of people, it did go over your head. Because a lot of people, if it ain't about 16 bars, if it ain't about dating relationships, pop the balloon, rap, or I would even say some Marvel shit, people are not concerned what really goes on around them as long as they can be entertained. And that's part of the job of entertainment. Before anybody entertains you, there is a goal of programming. OK, entertainment is a tool for programming or for getting you to pay attention to things that's going on. So entertainment is not just entertainment for the sake of entertainment. Entertainment has a goal. OK, anytime you're entertained, it's a goal to that. That's one of the things that you should know. But what he lets you know is that, and that was the Trump administration, the head of science and technology talking. But like I said, most people are not interested in this kind of thing. But what he said was that we have the ability to manipulate time and space and the ability to close distances. Did you just hear what he said? We have the ability to manipulate time and space. Wouldn't you think this is something that this should be the most thing talked about? But it's not, because you're distracted by the entertainment. See, they have to put these little nuggets out here and stuff like that. They have to put this information out, but they don't have to make a grand announcement about it. But they do have to put it out there. But while you're distracted, this is what got revealed. And this is something that affects every aspect of humanity. We have the ability to manipulate space and time and close distances. So that also means we have access or have the ability to create or have access to some kind of wormholes. OK, because anytime you can close distance, that's what he's talking about. You know, and they're very successful at it is what he's describing. Now, he has just described to you the explanation for the Mandela effect. Now you guys can hang your hats up. Now you don't got to worry about it no more because, yeah, you might have been a conspiracy theory territory until the administrator of science and technology just came out and said this. Yeah, I know they have the ability to manipulate time and space. I can tell, So you've seen the results of the aftermath of them having the ability to manipulate time and space, but you couldn't put your finger on how it was happening. So therefore, they had you charge up to, oh, you just got the wrong memory. No. I'm going to tell you where they messed up with me. It's 3 major things. Y'all could have got away with Berenstein Bears. You could have got away with changing the Ford logo. You could have got away with that. But when you guys changed Looney Tunes and try to tell us that Looney Tunes is spelled with the UN instead of the 2 O's, when you tried to say the Energizer Bunny never had a battery in his back, and when you tried to say the Fruit of the Looms emblem never had a cornucopia, that's where y'all messed up with me. One of those alone drew up a red flag. But the Looney Tunes is really, I was like, okay, yeah, they are definitely messing with time. Because the Looney Tunes, well, you know what? I'm going to get into that later, But what I'm going to do now is, since we now got this information and they now came out and said that they can manipulate time and space, on this channel right now, I am going to prove a Mandela effect true in real time. And I'm going to do it on something that nobody has touched yet. All right. But first, I want to reveal to you guys a test that I invented. It's called the vein test. You can do this on any and everybody. You have my permission to use it. You know what I'm saying? As long as you just remember who created it. OK, this test that we're all finna do right now. This test is a test to determine what timeline you live on, because we're all living around each other, but we're all not living on the same timeline. OK, not at all. So this test is to help you differentiate who's on the new timeline and who's on the old timeline. All right. Now, first things first. All right. The rules. When I ask you a question, I want you to say the first thing that comes to your mind. OK, you are not allowed to think. If you think you failed, you might as well quit. You have to blurt out the very first thing that comes to your mind. I don't want you to think about it. I don't want you to guess. I just want you to come what naturally wants to come out of your mind and out of your mouth. That's how you play this game. OK, so there's not supposed to be no thinking, meaning I just want a reaction. I don't want you thinking. I just want you to react. And I want you to answer as fast as possibly. That way I know that you're not thinking. So if you can't do that, or if you have hesitated during the time that I ask you this question, you have failed. OK, now, are you ready to take the test? OK, we fit to do the vein test. Now, remember, when I ask you these questions, answer them as fast as possible and as purely as possible without thought, just your natural reaction when it comes. OK. Where on your body is your heart located? Answer now. You should have answered already. That's how fast you should be. You should have answered already. OK. Now, I'm going to ask you another question. Do it the same way. How many states is in America? Answer now. You should have answered already. OK. And if you had to think about it, if you had to question like, oh, I don't know if that's right, maybe I should say this, you failed the test. You had to answer naturally. All right. Now, there's a few reasons why I asked y'all this question and why this test is designed like this. So let me give you your results. If you said, when I asked you how many states in America, if you said 51 or 50, you are on the new timeline. Okay? Now, when I asked you the location of your heart, and if you said the middle of your chest, you are on the new timeline. Okay? People of the old timeline, when I asked you how many countries are in America, very quickly, you should have said 52. Okay? People on the old timeline, when I asked you to tell me the location of your heart, you should have said the left side of your chest. Okay? That's the old timeline versus the new timeline. So if you answered middle of the chest in 51 or 50 or something like that, you on a new timeline. If you answer 52 and the left side of your chest, you represent the old timeline, the world that used to be. And I'm going to tell you why. Because in this timeline, they teach you that your heart is in the middle of your chest. I'm here to tell you that your heart has never been located in the middle of your chest. Never. Never. That's something new. Okay? That's something new. And I'm going to prove it to you. Number one, my Gen X can contest to this because this is something they had to do through all their schooling. Me, I probably had to do it for like 1 year before it disappeared. But one of the reasons you know that your heart has always been located on the left side of your chest, because when you started school, or when the Gen Xers started school, what they used to do at the beginning of class, they used to say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag, to the United States of America, to the republic in which it stands, one nation, one God, individual, liberties. All right. When you said that pledge, you had to take your right hand and put it over the left side of your chest. Do you know why? Because that's where your heart is. Ask them. Ask them. Now, I'm going to use history to prove it. And I'm not going to use a book. I'm not going to use any papers. I'm going to use cinema to prove the location of your heart. Does anybody remember the movie Ninja Assassin? It's one of my favorite movies. Ironically, it's made by the people that made The Matrix. But has anybody ever heard of Ninja Assassin? Have you ever seen Ninja Assassin? Okay. Well, there's a scene in Ninja Assassin where this old man who plays the keymaker in The Matrix explains how he survived an assassination attempt by a ninja. Okay. Now we're going to play the scene and I want you to listen to what he says.
That night, one of their blades struck here. I should have died but for an accident of birth. My heart is here, on the other side.
Now, did you hear what he said? He said because of an accidental birth, my heart is here on the other side. He said the blade hit here. Okay, what you see is his left side. But he said because of an accidental birth, my heart is on the other side. This was 2004? See, the world changed after 2012. We started the new timeline in 2012. Okay? But up until then, your heart has always been located on the left side of your body or chest. It's never been in the middle. If so, why do they have the location of the heart wrong in this movie? Why would he say it's on the opposite side because of accidental birth? Because your heart is really on your left side. Okay, let's skip to the ending of this movie. When Mika Coretti gets stabbed, she gets stabbed in the heart area, okay? And the paramedic comes up and he says, I don't know how she's alive. She has a hole in her heart. And as you can see, the location is on the left side. But she looks up at the paramedic and she said, no, my heart's on the other side. Her heart, she has the same kind of heart that the dude in the beginning who was describing his attack, she has the same kind of heart that he has. He didn't die at that time of the assassination because his heart wasn't on the left side. It was on the right. She survived because her heart wasn't on the left side. It was on the right. Now do you see why they don't want you owning DVDs, CDs, and old VHS tapes? Why do you think they want you to buy everything online now? Yeah, you can order a movie, but you'll only own it online. Yeah, you can order a game, but you only own it online. No, you still need the physical copies of everything. That's why I say keep your old movies, keep your old DVDs, and most importantly, you need to still buy books. Books is what they don't want you to buy, because as long as they empty everything on Google, they can change it at a fingertip. And that's what they want. The only thing that gives us traces of how things used to be and what the truth is our past, our old books, our old this, our old that. Isn't that how Fruit of the Loom's company got found out that they were lying about the cornucopia? You know, the Fruit of the Loom's things alone blew the whole thing, because I remember asking my mom, what is this in the background? Fruit of the Loom is the only reason why I know the name cornucopia. I've never used it in my life for anything other than when my mother told me what that was. This is how I know what a cornucopia is. This is all I know about a cornucopia. I've never heard cornucopia again. So I remember that. You know, now